Welcome back to the People's Platform on U97.5 FM. This is the program where, of course, we continue to focus on the issues affecting the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And, of course, this morning we're looking at the issues affecting the people of Venezuela who are here in Trinidad and Tobago. We are in studio this morning with Venezuelan activist Yesenia Gonzalez. Ms. Gonzalez, before the break, we were speaking about crime. And one of the issues you raised was the issue of human trafficking. Tell us a bit about your experience in having to deal with human trafficking and how the Venezuelan community is affected by that.
Well, the human trafficking issue is a big operation, and sometimes different small groups that set up there to go Venezuela and deal with some people who also are involved in human trafficking. It is a big operation where they make a lot of money, and secondly, it is also different small, like a couple will set up a group, not necessarily belong to this big operation, like Wiria Train and all those people who are really trafficking women. The Wiria Train, Aragua, they are very bad people, and that is a big operation that run in Peru and all those countries, Brazil and all of that.
So is it that?
But the kind of human trafficking in Trinidad is run by businessmen, right, who owns places and so on, and they organize a couple, like even the businessmen are married to Trinidadian, to Venezuelan women, and the women are the one to work there and put it in Facebook with different of maybe 5 or 6 people they set up, and those people will be there in Facebook saying, well, do you want a job in Trinidad? We have a good job for you, and so on. And of course, those women, young women, they don't know better. They don't really know the bad things happening out there, So they will fall for it, desperation. Okay, I get a nice opportunity to go and model, to be part of modeling, or to be in a cosmetic place or things like that. Because and those they are, most of them are young girls who they still in the fantasy. I remember when I was about 15 years old, I was in my fantasy about modeling and all this kind of thing. I mean, it was like a Barbie world, yes. But now they're using that now to kind of fool those young girls who are 16, 17. And some of them, when you look at them, you're thinking they are 30 years old and they are just 18, 17 years old. They look older, but they little girls. So they will put that in Facebook, and they will go Facebook, and that's how they link up there.
So when these girls leave Venezuela and they come to Trinidad, what happens to them?
Well, it's a nightmare, because first you have to cross that sea. You have to come from Tucupita or Wiria. Some of them come from Caracas, Maracaibo, Maturin, Carúpano, or Puerto Ordaz is very, very, very popular in the sense of women coming in from Puerto Ordaz, traveling all the way. They're traveling for about 4 or 5 days to reach down to Cupita and meet the people. A woman will meet them, which is the wife of the businessman in Trinidad. They will meet them and say, yeah, and they will put them in a hotel, and they will treat them real nice, give them dinner and everything. And long traveling on the boat, like about 12 hours traveling in a bus, take an next bus before you reach your destination. When you reach your destination, you have to take the boat, and then you have to stop in something called La Barria, which is only Amerindians living there, fishing. They go across to Cupita to bring fish, and so they're going back and forth. Barria is a place where, it's like a little city, a little place, like, people going to school and things, village, yes. And underneath there, that is where all the drugs hide in there. Everything going on there.
So when they come
trafficking women, and they passing this woman, and they have to go through the forest. They have to, when the sea water and the river meet, it's like a huge wave, very dangerous, and they will lose everything in the way coming up. So when they reach there, if you're lucky, you have passport. They take your passport before you leave. They take the passport and everything, and when they reach there, well, they don't speak the language, they don't know anybody. Fellows waiting for them with gun and thing, taxi. It's an operation they have there in Trinidad, which the police know about it.
Now, you're saying that the police know about it. How are the police involved? What levels are the police involved? Tell us about the police and the government and how they're dealing with this.
Well, I don't think they're dealing with it very well. Not in my experience, because I rescue a lot of victims of human trafficking, girls, young girls. I give them protection, I give them shelter. I in contact with the director of counter traffic. And they're trying, but I am not impressed. I am not impressed. I wish I was impressed, because it's so much that what's going on in Trinidad, that I can understand why it's still going on. Because if you know all of that going on, that businessmen running places to have them, sell them, spa, all kind of things they set up, dancers, all kind of things they set up, young girls. If you check those clubs, just take a walk in any of those clubs. Because remember, they go all over, They not to say that they select in one place. They go all over the place, because remember, you have to sell them. And they ain't fair, they can't talk, they don't know the language. They put 8 clients a night for, I think, $300 TT and $500, depends. Some of them is buying in full, like they buy one girl which is a virgin, buy them full. And they keep them home, slave them, beat them, abuse them, sell them back again, and so it going, the ring going like that. It's terrible. The Children Authority, when it's coming to the minors, they work together with the counter traffic to take over. Because remember, some of those girls, the parents not here, they probably run away from home and all kind of thing, thinking they could find a better place, because they're frustrated. They don't have nothing in Venezuela. Everything running by US dollar. If you don't have US dollar, you starve in Venezuela. A lot of Trinidadians will go to Venezuela and say, no man, things good in Venezuela because you have the US. But what about if you live in there? How you will buy a promasa? If a promasa is your whole salary. And if you don't have US, how you buy promasa? If you don't have US, how you buy rice? Everything has to be US. You understand? So people don't understand that it's a bigger crisis in Venezuela, bigger crisis. What you see, all those restaurants running and all these places running there, clubs and things running, it's because whoever it is, bring US. They have a currency there with the US running there by the government. Right?
You're talking about human trafficking, and you're talking about women coming to Venezuela, girls coming to Trinidad.
Yes.
What about girls?
And men also being trafficking too, eh? Yeah, they bring them and they have them working in the same criminal activity. They have to work to get the girl sale, So if you don't do what they say, you know what, they giving a little salary and say you run the show. So they don't get involved, you get involved. And they trafficking you. It's a big operation run by intelligence, because this thing is not like just easy thing. So, it's a very serious thing, very, very serious. There's a lot of going on there that the police know about it, the government know about, the government know everything going on with the victim of human trafficking in this country. They know everything. The first thing they say, well, they don't have the proof, but go to the club and see how many young girls there. Why they don't put a system where if you go into a club, show my ID. How old are you? You are 15, where are you from? And right away deal with them, protect those girls. because those girls wish if somebody could really take them from wherever they are. But obviously, if you see police, you get frightened. If I see police, I get frightened. And that is the power that the police have, that they don't use that power. Because the police has so much of power. Just to see a police walking the street, you're afraid. So, God, I want to look at police there if you're doing something wrong. If somebody patrolling your place or 3 police officers patrolling your place, obviously, they feel intimidated. They must know that something is wrong. So they know everything about human trafficking. Don't tell me they don't know, they know.
Tell me about trafficking outside of Trinidad, because we have had where several young women in Trinidad have gone missing over the years, vanished without a trace. Some people are saying that they're trafficked out. Some people are saying that there are so many stories. Why? Do you know of any instances where Trinidadian girls are trafficked out of the country?
Well, you know, there is a lot of illegal activities in this country, in the sense of victim of human trafficking is very huge. And yes, I will believe that some Trinidadian woman who was being trafficked or disappeared. Right? It's just that obviously, you know, you're looking for the bigger picture, and they're looking at the Trinidadian woman, victim of human trafficking, as a small picture, because they say, oh, Trinidadian can't be trafficking here, but they do. Now, I can't tell you for sure how big it is, but all I could tell you is that the police know about it. The police know about all these questions you ask me. They know, police know where to go, what club, where the people coming in from. They have different refugee places in Trinidad where these refugees to keep the women when they come, and then the next day you'll have the taxi dropping them. The police know about it. How I know and they don't know?
What are some of the...
I don't have the proof, but I know I spoke to a lot of victims that share with me all this nightmare.
There are some Trinidadians...
Scary, how they get raped, how they beat them, abuse them, and the criminals of victim of human the criminals get them bail. So you picking up a girl who is 16 years old, taken to the contra trafficking, they interrogate them, they tell you all the experience, they talk to the police, they tell the police what happened, they show them body, the marks, how they get beat up between the leg, all black and blue, right? And they share with the police all of that in the police station. They take a big long statement, right? They get information where the people are, where the criminals are. They get information, but they can't go, because they're supposed to go through a process where you're supposed to get an order before you go to them. But then you holding that girl. You take the girl now for the contra traffic to interrogate them. They had the unit of victim of human trafficking. And then the children authority will come and take them to protect them. And the criminals are still in the laws. They didn't go for them yet. And when they hold them, they put them before the court, right? And they give them bail. So they're in bail, and then those girls inside there want to go back home to stay with the mother, begging, some of them begging to go back because they had children. Some of them, they don't get access to talk to anybody in the phone, which I agree, because you don't know who you're talking to, who could intimidate you. But it's a very bad situation going on here.
Let's talk about jobs. There are many Trinidadians who are saying Venezuelans are coming here and not taking the jobs. There are some people who are saying that Venezuelans are not taking the jobs, but they are simply working. What are your views on Trinidadians who are afraid that Venezuelans are taking Trinidadian jobs?
Well, I don't believe that the Trinidadians are afraid that the Venezuelans taking a job. I believe that it's just something that somebody, some small 3 or 4 or 5 people in Trinidadian who suffer from xenophobia or the racial or discriminating, like what they say, Spanish people coming here to take my man. I think that is a small little group. Venezuela don't come in nobody. Unfortunately, they have some relationship that break up and they go, the Trinidadian go with the Venezuelan, but they have That they say that they have all the Venezuelan coming here too much of everybody marriage and taking everybody man and taking everybody job. What job? What job they taking? You see any Trinidadian working as a maid and cleaning in the United States? You see that? When those Trinidadians go into the state and they go and clean just like the Venezuelan, and they work just like the Venezuelan, I have people working for me Trinidadian, I never have a problem, I'm happy, and they're good workers. To me, that is a small xenophobic people who just saying that, and I think all of that is political, because if the authority, the government expressing themselves against the migrants coming here, they're coming to take everything from us, and we're not here to give them shelter, and this and that and the other. This is not a refugee tent and this and that, then obviously you will create a small xenophobic people. If you look in Facebook and those pages, those minister pages, Stuart Young, that one, making any comment about a Venezuelan. It is horribly, you know. I remember they were saying about me, they were saying they put me in jail and they should burn me into pieces and all kind of thing, yeah.
We have been speaking with Yesenia Gonzalez, a Venezuelan activist. She has been speaking about a number of issues affecting the Venezuelan community this morning on the People's Platform. Number one, that children are not going to school, that there's exploitation, and that there's human trafficking, discrimination, and xenophobia. She is saying that parents are prepared to send their children to school, but because the government is saying that they are illegal immigrants, children are not getting to go, and that in her school, in her view, children are universal and should be allowed to get their basic rights and education. She is stating that Venezuelans with bad interests should in fact be sent back to jail, sent back to Venezuela or put in jail. She agrees with that. She says that the government has been deporting Venezuelans every day and that Venezuelans are coming here only for a time until they can be settled elsewhere with other governments in other countries. She's saying that it is hard to know exactly how many legal Venezuelans are here and how many illegal Venezuelans are here, and that the regularization process that took place 2 years ago was very disorganized in her view, and stated that the former Minister of National Security, Stuart Young, was a disappointment. She is saying that police with guns have raided homes in the middle of the night to deport families to Venezuela. With respect to crime, she agrees that some criminals are here, but she's asking the question, who is bringing them here? And not every Venezuelan is in fact a criminal. She's stating that the majority of Venezuelans are not criminals, and the majority of criminals in this country are in fact Trinidadians. She's saying that trafficking in Trinidad is a big operation, and it is run by businessmen and their wives. Girls are sold as slaves, and that the government and the police, they definitely know about trafficking. And she does not believe that Trinidadians are in fact afraid of Venezuelans taking their jobs, because there are different types of jobs. Venezuelans are hard workers, and so too are Trinidadians. And she believes that there is politics with respect to talking about jobs and talking about the other issues in Venezuela. As we close this morning, Ms. Gonzalez, let me invite you to give us some closing statements. What are some of your closing thoughts to the Venezuelans and to the Trinidadians who are listening to you this morning?
Well, before that, I have to thank Jessel Mahis, his website, who highly recommend me and spoke so well about you all, Salisha. He talked so well about it, and he's worked hard also with information I give him concerning what's going on in the country with all these victims and so on. He don't sleep. He's the only time on the line taking all these cases and so, and put it out there so people to know what's going on. So I thank him. Because of him, he's responsible for me being here and give me this opportunity. And also the foundation of C.J. Williams, which the foundation is Teams Foundation of America. Anybody who want to call me and they wanted to give a little piece of the grain for those children, toys or whatever it is, cases that they have, I send message to them. We're here to help them in a humanitarian level, you know, give them free consultations and things like that. Because some of them doesn't know what's going on here in terms of the law and so on. And well, I just have to say to the government to be compassionate and trying to keep the relationship good with the Americans, because if the Americans are going to starting to see things already and they don't work hard enough, it would be very sad the decision the United Nations could have made. The American Embassy right now releasing money for all these NGOs to help them and so on. And I believe that the government should try to work and do what they promised to do, to protect those migrants and to give them the right of protection. You understand? So I believe that the government has to be very careful how they victimize them and how they want to deport everybody having the SUR card. I think that is a very serious thing, and they have to be very careful. Also, they spend a lot of money in the human trafficking, contra traffic. They spend a lot of money for them, to mind them, to see about them, to give them shelter. And they should try their best to work harder and trying to deal with those criminals elements.
I want to say thank you very much to Mrs. Yesenia Gonzalez. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias a ti, and all the blessings to you and to my friend here.
Nicole,
thank you so much. You're doing a good work, and thank you for the support. Thank you so much.
Of course, and you are welcome here anytime. Let me say good morning to the Venezuelans who are listening to Ms. Gonzalez here on the People's Platform. And let me say thank you to all of you who have been with us this morning. This is where we end this morning's program, but we certainly want to invite you to stay tuned to U97.5 FM for the best in original voices, original music, and original compositions. Nicole, thank you very much as always.
Thank you.
And of course, we will resume with programming with Zelisa. This is Kieran Joseph Samaru. This has been the People's Platform. Have a great day.